All right, I'm going to show you how to create, use, and move folders in Schoology. Folders are really important for organizing your classroom, and if you can figure out how to use that organizational strategy, it'll make everything easier for students to access and understand how your classroom is set up. Okay, so let's start with how you actually create a folder. This is my creative writing class, I have nothing in it whatsoever. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Add Materials, and I'm going to click Add Folder. It's important to title your folder something that people will understand without going into it what it contains, so that they can understand where they need to go as soon as they get to your classroom. I'm going to call my folder Orientation. And at that point, you can pick a color. You can pick the same color every time, or you can color code things. I have sort of a color coding system that I use, but you can figure that out as you go forward. I'm going to choose purple today. And then you can, if you want to, add some text that will be displayed underneath the folder in Schoology. I don't typically do that, but you could if you wanted to. So let's say I wanted to say this is complete by August 21st. Okay, and then the other thing to note is that you can add dates if you want. That gets a little complicated, so let's just stick with nuts and bolts on this. I think it's important to know this feature, availability. If I clicked create right now, students could log in and see it. But if I were still building this folder and I didn't want students to see it yet, I could click unpublished. Then I would be able to see it, but they would not. When I'm ready for them to see it, I just go back into it and click published. So I'm going to say it's published right now. I'm going to create that folder. And when students log into my class, this is what it would look like. Now, if I wanted to change it, say I had it unpublished and I wanted to publish it, if I wanted to change what it says here, all I do is go over to this little cog, click edit, and I can change the title. I can get rid of this information. I can choose published or unpublished, and then it immediately updates. Okay, so once you start to go through your year, you're going to have probably multiple folders. And so I'm going to show you how you can move the folders. I'm going to go into a previous class. This is my dual credit class from last year. And you can see I have sort of compiled my work from the rest of the year into this previous units folder so students can still access it. And this is the stuff that we did once we went to virtual instruction in the spring. Every week had its own folder. But let's say it's time for me to clean this up because we're going to have another unit and I don't want it all sprawled out across their screens, and I just want what we're going to be currently using. So let's say I wanted to move those assignments into the previous units folder. I click on the cog and then I choose move. Where do I want to move it? I want to move it into my previous units folder. Okay, and then it will be absorbed into that previous units folder, and it's out of the way and not confusing to students. It's still available to them, but it's not going to be on our front page here. Okay, so I try to keep the front page as neat and tidy as possible. So that's it. That's how you create and move folders in Schoology.